The July 16 governorship election in Osun State has been contested and won, but the battle over the poll is far from over. Governor Gboyega Oyetola and the candidates of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the election has submitted a 1,250-page petition challenging the results. Governor Oyetola is contesting the results in 749 polling units out of 3,763 on the grounds of overvoting and infractions. Meanwhile, the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has faulted the decision by the APC to challenge the outcome at the Election Petition Tribunal, while the APC said it has good case and ready to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. The PDP described the decision as a wasteful voyage and an exercise in futility. Can you take us through this, MJ? We saw the election, and it was safe at the time that the result was announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission that, okay, the People's Democratic Party, they came, they saw, and they conquered. But after that, we've been expecting the governor to congratulate the governor-elect, and as part of their rights, they've gone to the tribunal. Now, what they're saying in the tribunal is a 1,250-page document challenging overvoting and some other infractions.
Whether Governor Gboyega Oyetola congratulates Senator Adeleke or not, that has not invalidated the result of the election. So people should stop begging him to congratulate. It is not choice. It is not.
It's not an imprimatur.
You don't even have to sign the
certificate of return.
The certificate of the results.
Yes.
It doesn't
invalidate
the election. So whether I congratulate or not, that is not the issue here. But there are two critical issues. Recall that the PDP has some issues which is at the Supreme Court now.
Yes.
One aspirant, Dr. Babayemi, has taken a case to court. So I think the PDP should be more bothered about that because it has to do with how their primaries were conducted. But now that Oyetola has gone to court, now it's about 1,250-something pages, but there's an abridged version, which is 670. That's the one I read. I've taken time to look at it. And, I was being cautious to give INEC 100% when we are talking about the electoral.
Because when you were talking about overvoting, I was not looking at how would overvoting happen when the beavers is there to accredit the number of people
normally
at the polling units.
Yes, normally, I was on ground in Osun. And in the North and South, for example, elections were still going on till 9 p.m., which is allowed. INEC allows, if the last person is on the queue,
the last person on the
by
queue
2:30,
voted.
the person must vote.
And logically, is that possible?
Yes.
If
but
the last
then,
person on the queue by 2:30.
And another thing that INEC does
till
is
9.
If you have a particular polling unit where you have where you have so many voters, like say for example 2,000 voters, the average time of voting per person is between 2 and 5 minutes from accreditation to thumb printing. And so if you look at that, you see that a beavers machine, there's a limit to which it can do within 8 o'clock and 6 p.m., which is that's a 10-hour period. So when you look, that's why INEC will have a polling unit and probably 2 or 4 polling points attached to the same polling unit. That's why in Osun, for example, there are about 3,750 polling units, but about 4,000 polling points. So that's why they deployed about 5,000 beavers machines. So I expect that in those places where people were voting till 9 p.m., INEC, of course, you have the list of all those polling units. You know the number of people voting in those polling units. So you ought to have broken them down. So polling points where you deploy more beavers machines so that elections could be concluded at least before 6 p.m. That is the permissible time. Now, coming to the 749 polling units, what I've seen is that I hope it is not true. But if it is true, there's going to be a problem with INEC in Osun. And what am I saying? The elections in those polling units they caught my order earlier on, because I read a particular point where...
You can't preempt the courts.
No. Of course, but then I'm saying that from what I've seen, what the Electoral Act says is that if Beaver's machine says 0 accreditation, and you have some parties recording results for the same polling unit, if it is proven, because as you are having the results in the Beaver's machine, also all the parties signed the EC from EC8 in each polling unit. So the two must tally. So, but the Beaver's machine is the one INEC will use. So how did INEC upload a 0 accreditation into its portal now with the hard copy reading probably 600 votes per party A? So the moment that is established, I think there'll be a problem with such polling units. And here we are talking about 749 polling units. If that is the case, then there could be a problem with the result which has been declared by INEC.
Emeka, do you think the APC, they're just being bad losers, and they should just allow Senator Adeleke to do his first 4 years?
Yeah, well, they've called us as bad losers. So, and I think Oyetola has been a bad loser, very bad loser, because he has gone to the tribunal at the same time. He's taking certain decisions which, on the face of it, look like he wants to create problems for his successor. Establishing a university, even in the middle of ASU strike, establishing a university, doing some other things.
He's still the governor. He's still the governor.
Yes, he is. But
that might be of the pipeline before that might have been.
You're supposed to be winding down. It's just about 3 months. You're supposed to be winding down. Where are you going to? How are you going to establish a university within 3 months? You are going to create problems in the middle of ASU strike. You're going to create problems for your successor. There are certain things. You see, part of the problems we even have in states, while the minimum wage remains a problem, why we keep having issues of labor problems is that...
Okay, we are looking at the Tribunal case now.
Yeah, no, we'll get... Just permit me to digress a little. Is that you find out outgoing governors recruiting large numbers of people into the civil service, then the successors find it difficult to pay. And the workers say, oh...
Still within Oyetola's right to go to the Tribunal?
Yeah, no.
Do you agree with that?
I'm not stopping. No, of course, I'm just talking...
He has not done anything wrong by going to the Tribunal.
Of course, he's a citizen. He's a citizen. He has a right to, make recourse to the court. He has a right to go to court. But also, in exercising your right, you should consider the larger interest, the interest of the larger society.
How?
You should...
When these people are telling him, when his party members are telling him that everything did not go down well with the election.
Yes, but what we are looking at is this. How has it put the state? The state, the tension remains high. Is also within his right not to contest the result. It's also within his right. Like he expected Adeleke not to have contested the results. So what I'm saying, yes, is within his rights, but he should consider the interest of a larger society. If he decides not to go to court, let Adeleke run the state. They are both Osun indigenes. So it's not as if Adeleke is jumping from the moon. It's just to make sure that the people of Osun State get a good deal. At least let them see, oh, we've worked with this governor, let's work with this governor. And then again, there are issues within the party, within the APC. He's having issues with some eminent personalities in APC. So has he tried to sort those things out? The answer is no. So even while you are fighting at the tribunal, and it happens that your opponent starts calling members of your party to testify against you, how will it look like? I'm not trying to second-guess the tribunal, but I think it should not... The lawyers, he should watch the promises his lawyers are giving him about the strength of his case.
And looking at the strength of the case now, Mojit, do you think, yes, with the facts and evidence they have on ground, that the governor would ordinarily have said, look, I'm walking away, or would have looked at the weights of the evidence on ground and say, look, I want to pursue this to a logical conclusion and within the ambit of my rights?
That's why I want to disagree with Emeka a bit. Yeah. Recall that 4 years ago when Oyetola won, Adeleke went to court. He didn't say, okay, for the good people of Osun, let me wait for another 4 years. So now
he exhausted his rights.
Up to the Supreme Court. So let Oyetola too entertain himself. Let him exercise his rights by also challenging the result of it. And see, the beauty of democracy is that now we are seeing a situation where somebody is defeating an incumbent. So, which means INEC is improving, like I said earlier, but they can still get better. But like I said earlier, if it is proven that, of course, there are some polling units where actually the beavers machine recorded 0, because I read the petition comprehensively, and I saw some of these things in so many areas. Of course, there is no...
No, but Adeleke has not...
Of course, I mean, it's going to file his own
yes,
defense. It's going to be a battle for the cause, but I'm telling you what the electoral law says.
Yes.
Just like most people don't know, it was at that workshop that I realized that you can go to jail for 12 years if you campaign based on religion.
Yes.
Yes, it is in the new Section 26 of the new Electoral Act.
Yes.
So, for Murik and Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs and even the Christian Association of Nigeria, it is not your business whether a party feels Christian or Muslim.
No, but they are not candidates.
No, I
don't want us to deviate from this.
Not candidates. I'm just saying that the new Electoral Act.
Oyetola's victory.
Yes.
Adeleke's victory.
It is still the new Electoral Act we are talking about here. Yes. And there's a provision in the new Electoral Act that says that if Beaver's machine accredits 0, you cannot have a result in that polling unit. It will be cancelled. They will go and test that law in court. Yes. So the judiciary should be warming up, because this is a new Electoral Act. And those of us who are covering, who are journalists, we have a lot to learn.
Yeah,
and also we should get ourselves acquainted with the new Electoral Act, because there are a lot of changes.
There are a lot of changes, yes, actually, there are a lot of changes, yes.
Emeka Madunagu,
thank you very much.
I want to thank you for your contribution, and we see democracy in action in Osun State, and let them go to the tribunal. And the good thing about the tribunal now is that I think it's 180 days.
Sorry, wait, just 1 minute. Somebody just sent me a message that accommodation in some schools, in some federal universities, could be range between 12,000 and 30,000.
Federal
universities. But then Professor Akin Oyebode is saying it is 90.
Yes, Ogunbode,
Professor Akin Oyebode. Ogunbode is saying it is 90 naira. So
yes, in OAU.
In OAU.
Former VC of OAU. Yes.
So I think we should get that
right. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Emeka.
Thank you very much.
And MJ, thank you. It's been a while.
Thank you very much.
All right. And that's our offering. Join us tomorrow. Okay. I just gathered that the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Oyetola, that's Ismail, one of our own, Ismail Oyekbidon, we want to contribute. Thank you, Ismail.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ismail.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
Ismail, can you just run through what's the merit of this case?
Well, why I am calling in is just to try to correct the impression being created by my good brother and colleague, Mr. Emeka Madunagu. The university in question was, the process did not start today. We started the process long before now, and it will interest Mr. Emeka and the other viewers to know that even the PDP candidate campaigned with the same university. In fact, he claimed that we were slow in our own process. And I remember the OWA trying to school him on the fact that this process started long ago, and they believe strongly in the commitment of the governor to fulfill the promise. That is one. Two, the election has come and gone, and we thank God that Mr. Governor was able to bring his character and personality to play in that election, and that was why we witnessed a very peaceful atmosphere. However, I haven't realized that we have a very strong ground to challenge the election. I don't think anybody should try to vilify Mr. Governor for choosing a legal means to process to challenge the process in court.
Okay. It's my, Mr. Mikidon, we don't have this time. We don't have time again. I wish you the best of luck in your quest to exercise your rights,
Yes.
which is an extension of your right at the tribunal.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we'll be here to analyze it, and I'm
Yes.
sure it might get to the Supreme Court level.